Hey, this is Trevor again. Welcome to Free Guitar Lessons Pro. Making a follow-up video to the other video about how to play the C major scale. If you haven't learned how to do that yet, you can go to that video and then you'll be ready for this one. But first I want to talk a little bit about how you can start to create some patterns in the scale, in just the C major scale, because a lot of people don't see the purpose of scales. They think you can just play them up and down and that's what a scale is. So that's not true at all. There's very quickly, once you start going through the different possible patterns, it becomes kind of a Pandora's box, and you'll find that there are way too many patterns that you can even keep track of, and that you're best off picking out your 4 or 5 or 6 or however many favorite ones and just using those, because you don't have to know everything. You just know what patterns that you like. So probably the first pattern that I could think of is playing the scale in thirds. That means you're playing it every other note. Like this note is 1, F is 1, G is 2, and this is 3. And so a third just means every other note. That's a third. So the first pattern would be to play a third off of F and then a third off of G. So if you just see this framework in your mind, this actually isn't a hard pattern. And then the same pattern can be played backwards. Let's see. Let me do it again. And then you can, let's see, what would be a good one to do next? It's really up to you. You can stack the thirds and then you get triads. So then all of a sudden now you're outlining all of the triads of the key of C. F, A, C, G, B, D, on up the line. So you get, instead of going, and so instead of doing that, now our pattern's going to be, and that pattern's actually kind of hard. Maybe, I think what I did was instead of going, I just flipped the second triad around. Let's do it a little slower. Let's see. There's C major, D minor 7, whoops, D minor, I'm getting ahead of myself, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, and then why not just stack another third on top of that? See, this might seem complicated, but it's all logical. If you practice the first thing first, then the other patterns will become easy, because this third is associated with this one, because you practice it that way. So you kind of build these stepping stones, and then by the time you're stacking up 4 of them, well, that's a pretty advanced pattern. I know that when I was in school, when I was in the process of flunking out of school anyway, they told us to practice this pattern. This is a Coltrane pattern, so. So now I'm flip-flopping, that's called, I've heard it called flip-flopping, where the direction of the arpeggio changes. You can even just flip-flop a third. Like, this would probably be the next thing. I probably should have showed you this pattern in second instead of, but like, instead of doing that, we're gonna go that part's going to be the same, and then this is a descending interval there instead of ascending, and then you continue that up the scale. Do it backwards. So, and it sounds like a cool pattern. It sounds really kind of complicated. You might be like, oh, what is that? Okay, buddy, slow down. I can't do that. It's too hard. No, it's it's simpler than it sounds. It's just a cool sounding pattern with its flip-flopping thirds. Up a third, down a third, up a third, down one. And you just kind of have to sit there and work it out. Whoop. So don't hesitate to hit me with your questions, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.